welcome back. Now today I'm going to be showing you how to change spark plugs on 2008 Honda Civic Hybrid. Now this is a hybrid, and also this does actually have 2 spark plugs per cylinder, so let's just jump right into it. Now the spark plugs are located under this cover right here, and we simply just pop that off. Now, the 4 here, 4 back there under the coils. So we'll go one by one through each of them. So the first thing we're going to do, start right here, push down, unplug, set to the side, take a 10mm, set that right there where we can find it. Then I'm going to pull up on the coil. Now our spark plug is down in there. Take the spark plug socket, and there we go. Now this is a long shank on these, so it's going to take just a little bit. And there we go. Now when installing the new ones, be careful not to drop it down and bend the electrode. So we're going to stick it into the spark plug socket, lower it down carefully, and get it hand tight. And once you have it snug by hand, come back and just make sure it's snug. Drop the coil back into place. Make sure it's down. Then we will put the little nut back on top. Our 10mm, tighten into place, and there we go. Now just do the rest of them. Now a magnetic tip would probably come in very handy on these, just so you don't drop them down the backside. You can see here, that's went ahead and unplugged everything, got all the bolt nuts off. That way I can just go ahead and do each one as they go. Now back in there it's going to be a little trickier for space, but these right here will be simple. We can get to those, slow it down, and show you how to get in there. Now what I'm going to do on the back of these, to get these back plugs out, having issues fitting my longer extension back and through here, trying to get it up in there. So the easiest thing to do will be to take my spark plug socket on a shorter extension, set it down in there onto the spark plug, take another shorter extension, set it on top of there, and then once you got it where you can pull the plug out, pull that extension off, and there you have it. Now, reinstalling a plug, basically the same way. Reach it down in there, carefully lower the plug in, then I'm going to take another short extension, way I can turn it by hand, and then once you get it snug by hand, again, same thing, ratchet back on there, and snug it with the ratchet. Wiggle it loose from the spark plug. Before you take the shorter socket off, take the first extension off, and there we go. Then all I have to do is finesse this back into place. And move on to the next one. Which should pretty much be the same thing. Now, let's reinstall the nuts to hold the coils in place. Just be careful of the rear ones as not to drop them. Now this last one will be a little bit of a trick. If you have to, you could probably end up moving this out of your way to get to it a little easier. It's just hard to see it. There we go. Now let's go back with a 10mm and tighten them all down. They don't have to be super tight. Just want to keep the coil in place. Now right here is where one of those short little swivel extensions would come in handy because they're not too long and they'd reach up in there just fine. But now everything is plugged in and tightened down. Put the cover back on it. And it just pops back into place. Alright, now there it is. It's pretty simple, easy to do. The front four are extremely easy. The back four just require a little bit of finesse. I said, little spark plug trick here. If you don't have an extension that is just the right length to fit up under there, which is my problem, I have shorter ones and then I have longer ones. Longer ones just couldn't get them in there. It's too long. So, did just like this. Drop it down in there. Pop that one on there. Then you got it. Then when removing, after installing the spark plug, the trick is to grab a little lower down where you can, wiggle it until it breaks loose from the rubber in there that holds the spark plug, so you can pull up without pulling that up and leaving that in there and then having to fight it again. So, just a little trick. Now I hope this information proved helpful to you, and as always, thanks for watching.